Moving scams you need to look out for in 2025. If you don't know who I am, my name is Jesse. I'm the founder of Fast Track Movers, where we do local, long distance, office, and deliveries in the Lakeland. So Cold Lake, Bonnyville, St. Paul, Ashmont, Lac-La-Biche, Lloydminster, basically everywhere in the northeast of Alberta. Here's some moving scams you need to look out for so that you don't have to pay thousands in extra fees and you can get a more stress-free move. And before we get into some moving scams, here's what you should look for in moving companies. So before we get into the red flags, let's start with some of the green lights, the stuff you should see when hiring a mover. So first, how they quote the job. There are two main ways movers quote the job. The first one being weigh scale and the second one being an hourly rate. And the risky way is weigh scale quotes. With weigh scale quotes, a mover gives you an estimated weight of your items, either online or in person. Sounds okay, right? They only weigh your stuff after it's loaded on the truck. Once they've loaded all your stuff onto the truck, they then bring it to the weigh scale. That's when your quote can double or triple. And that's the thing with weigh scale quotes, is that there's no way to actually ever guarantee beforehand. The only way to weigh it is once it's actually on the truck. So if they give you an approximate weight, there's no for sure that it's actually going to weigh that much. If it's more than the estimate, which it usually is, they raise the price. So sometimes it's a little, sometimes it's a lot. And at that point, guess what? They've got all your belongings and you're kind of stuck now. And I'm not going to say every moving company using weigh scales is shady, but if that's how they quote, I would keep your guard up. The safer way is hourly quotes. So this is what our moving company Fast Track uses and why we believe it's the better route, because we offer online or in-person quotes. We ask for your house size, so example 2-bedroom, 3-bedroom, special items like pianos or appliances, and photos of your stuff. We also ask for the moving distance, so the current location to the new location. And based off of that, we give you a full estimated time and cost up front. And that's the thing with hourly quotes. Movers like us who have done over 1,000+ moves can give you a pretty good estimate to how much it's going to take for us to do it, because we've done thousands of different 2-bedroom houses, 3-bedroom houses. So we know exactly how long that's actually going to take us, and with special items as well. With hourly pricing, you see everything up front. So we give you a full cost breakdown, exactly what you're going to be charged for. So you know exactly what our price is, and then you know exactly what the end price is as well. So it's no guesswork and no shady surprises as well. Next is the contract. So I would pay attention for this, because this is probably the most important thing when it comes to hiring movers. So what you're really signing. So it doesn't matter who the movers is, they will always have a moving contract, and some hide a lot of the fine print by using some legal jargon. And to make it easier to understand exactly what you're signing, I would use tools like ChatGPT to break down your contract. Just paste the text in and ask for a plain English summary. And here's exactly what this looks like. So I pasted our moving contract in, and I'm saying I use this prompt, I'm using this moving company, and this is the contract they have. Can you tell me exactly what is in this contract, and is it fair to me? So first, it'll break down everything in the contract. So first, scope of the agreement. This is a basic legal section saying you're hiring Fast Track Movers and agree to their terms. Fair, yes, standard intro. Company commitment, they promise good service and they say they'll make it right if the staff causes damage. They carry $3 million in commercial insurance, including liability and cargo, which is decent coverage. Fair, yes. So you just want to go through this and make sure that the contract is fair to you. Next is the truck size and hidden charges. So always ask what kind of trucks they use. Some companies do charge extra for bigger trucks if they have to use one. We don't, because we just charge an hourly rate. So even if it is a 16-foot or 26-foot truck, it will remain the same. And if you are unsure how much space you need, always go with the biggest truck, which in this case is usually 26 feet, to avoid multiple trips or cram loads from movers trying to stuff all your belongings in. And if you do have a really big move, I would opt in for a 53-foot moving truck as well. Next is the timeline transparency. So local moves should always be the same day delivery. But for long distance moves, it's not always a guarantee that they're going to get your stuff there the same day, depending on how far it is. So you should ask these questions. When will my stuff arrive? Will it be mixed with other people's stuff? Because some movers do load up to 2 to 3 households on one truck, and that can lead to delays, mix-ups, or lost items. Pro tip, use air tags or tracking devices in your boxes to track your stuff in real time. Since these movers will have 2 to 3 households in one truck, they're not always going to have them sectioned off properly if there's a lot of stuff, and they're definitely not going to remember whose stuff is whose. So having an air tag in some of the boxes can guarantee that you're going to know exactly where your items end up. And yeah, that's something you should really talk to your movers about if they're going to load up 2 to 3 households. And if they are going to do that, you should see how exactly they section it off to make sure that you get all your items. And the delays usually come because they're going to have to offload the first load and then make their way forward to the second and third load that's at the very front. If you're wondering how we do this, we only take one load at a time. That way we can guarantee quick and a protective delivery. Next is storage situation. So if you are bringing items into storage, you should definitely be there in person to see when they unload, so you can direct placement and check how it's packed. So if you do need to access some of your items, you should direct movers exactly how you want some stuff placed. Sometimes what we do is we have items placed on the sides wall so they can access all their boxes and then have the furniture on the other side, so it's easy for a quick walkthrough all the way down so they can get to all their stuff. You should also check to make sure that they're going to use pallets for furniture that has fabric, such as couches, because fabric items like couches must be on pallets if it is stored on concrete, because concrete does sweat through and can ruin your furniture. Next, you want to look at their policies, reviews, and proof of what they've actually accomplished. So read the company's policies. So again, use ChatGPT to do this. Read reviews and testimonials. Ask friends or family if they used them in the past, and check for an official LLC or business registration, as well as asking them about their moving insurance and what exactly that covers. And here's the full scam scenario. So this is everything that we've just talked about, how it can play out in your move. And obviously, yes, some movers will just use elements of this if they are scamming. So I would just make sure that you look for all of these elements beforehand before booking your move. And yeah, this is the full scam from what some shady movers can do to your move. So step 1 is the hook. So too good to be true. You're browsing online for movers. You come across a company offering crazy low prices, way cheaper than the rest. Their website looks clean, they got a few vague reviews, and they promise flat rates or low weight based quotes. They say no need for a home visit, just send a quick list or a rough estimate, we'll take care of the rest. You're busy, you're stressed when it comes to moving, and you think, wow, that was easy. But that convenience, it's the bait. Step 2 is the contract trap. You'll see exactly how this plays out in the later steps of the move. So it's the fine print confusion. So you get an email with the contract. It looks official, but it's full of legal jargon and vague words like final cost subject to post-load weight verification, estimated price only, not guaranteed, additional fees may apply. You're in a rush, you just want to book your move, so you skim, click, and sign. What you don't realize is that you've just agreed to an open-ended price with no legal protection if they decide to upcharge you later. Now, step 3, load and lock. The bait and switch begins. So, moving day arrives, the crew shows up on time, they're friendly, fast, and professional at first. They load your entire home quickly, sometimes encouraging you to try and hurry up and sign a final form as they go. So that's another thing you need to look out for is the final form. So these moving companies will make you sign a final form saying, hey, once we bring this to the weigh scale, if it weighs more, you have to pay more. So I would definitely read through that. And we do not have a final form to make you sign while you're moving, because that's just taking advantage of you. Because if you're stressed with moving, you have a bunch of coordinating to do with work and family and getting the keys to your new place. You're not really going to look through this contract as the movers are standing right in front of you making you sign it. So I definitely ask movers about that final form too, because what we do instead is we just charge you at the end of the move. So you pay at the end of your move, not when all your stuff is loaded up. So once everything is on the truck, they say, okay, we're off to the weigh scale. We'll call you with a final amount. It sounds reasonable until the call comes in. Suddenly, the estimated 5,000 pounds becomes 9,000 pounds, and the price is double what they originally quoted. But now they've got everything you've owned. And that's step 4, ransom mode, held hostage by your own stuff. You try to reason with them, but they say it's all in the contract. You threaten legal action. They don't care. Want your furniture, your clothes, your kids' toys, pay the new price or they're not going to unload the truck. Some even charge daily holding fees if you delay payment. Now you're forced into a corner. It's legal extortion, and they've got away with it because you signed that contract. So now you can see exactly how important the moving contract is. Step 5, storage or delay games, lost, mixed, or damaged. So if you are moving long distance or involve storage, things can get even messier. You find out your belongings were loaded with 2 or 3 other family stuff, all in the same truck. This causes massive delivery delays, boxes going into the wrong homes, furniture getting crushed or even scratched, and entire items disappearing. If you store your stuff, you're not allowed to be there when it's unloaded into the storage unit. They pack it fast and careless. Your couch sits on bare concrete, which, like we said, sweats and gets ruined. Your boxes are stacked wrong and stuff gets crushed. And if you need anything from storage, good luck trying to figure out where that storage unit is. The end result is chaos, stress, and regret. You're now out hundreds or thousands more than expected, missing items or stuck with damaged furniture, still waiting for a delivery that was supposed to happen days ago. Angry, overwhelmed, and feeling helpless now. And here's the worst part. By the time you realize what's happening, it's already too late. And now you know exactly what to look out for. So as you can see, moving is definitely stressful, and there's definitely some shady cats out there in the moving industry. There's some good news. There is plenty of moving companies out there that are going to take care of your stuff and make sure you get this most stress-free move as possible. And one of those being us, Fast Track Movers. Like I said, do not make you pay once we load up all your stuff. Payment is at the end of the move, and we only charge an hourly rate, so you know exactly what you're going to get billed for. There you have it, everything you need to know about avoiding a moving scam in 2025. The more you know, the smoother your move will go. Ask questions, read the contract thoroughly, and trust your gut when it comes to hiring the moving company. And like this video if it helped you, and drop some of your scam stories or questions in the comments. I'm very curious to know what type of scams you guys encountered with moving. And if you are interested, we have hundreds of videos on moving tips, so definitely subscribe. We also have some case studies too to show you exactly how our moving company operates with moves and exactly how clients were able to save on their move and stuff like that. It's just a bunch of different tips and stuff to help you save on your move and make it less stressful. So if you are wanting to get your move done right, you can get your quote at fasttrackmovers.ca. Simply click the get started button to schedule a call with one of our representatives so we can go in depth about your move and get you the best possible accurate quote. So yeah, thank you for watching this video, and I hope to hear from you soon.